Hello and welcome to Not Now Therapeutics. I'm so excited to be here with you all in the Holistic Health and Wellness group today. We are talking about arthritis, and I talked about this a little bit in a Facebook Live I did last week, but I wanted to go ahead and share this PowerPoint presentation that I created for you so that you can understand a little bit more about arthritis, what it is, how we get it, and how we get relief from it. And one of the things that I was saying last week is I've been a massage therapist since 2000, and I worked in physical therapy since 2011. And many times people come to me and are like, well, I just have arthritis. And that's it. That's just the way it is. And that's how it's going to be. So I just don't subscribe to that. I do believe that there are things that you can do to get relief. I have been diagnosed with arthritis. I have hurt every single solitary part of my body. And because I do not have health insurance, I do not go to the doctor, and I do not go to a lot of things that normal people do. So I've just learned how to fix myself over the years. And then working in physical therapy, being a massage therapist, knowing a lot about trigger points, I have miraculously healed myself from chronic pain. And that's what I do for my clients. I help them learn about their bodies and all of the things. So if you're tuning in today, I'm so happy that you're here. Because I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation, I won't be able to see your comments and things like that. Go ahead and give it a like, give it a heart, give it, let me know that you're here. I would love for you to interact so it boosts our algorithm, if you don't mind. And if you're catching the replay, then you can hashtag replay. And let's go ahead and jump in and get started with this. So, this is always my favorite part, sharing my screen. All right, what is arthritis? How to get relief with me, Samantha from Not Now Therapeutics. So the definition of arthritis is swelling and tenderness in one or more of the joints. Arthritis happens in your joints, and it happens in your joints for a reason. You don't get arthritis in the middle of a bone, right? Because the joints are what's mobile and they rub up against each other. The main symptoms of arthritis are pain, stiffness that typically gets worse with age. And the most common types of arthritis are osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. So when you are looking at this, you can see that this is going to be a normal joint. And then you see inside of here, you can see the tearing in the cartilage, and there's little bone spurs and narrowing of the joint space. And why is that? Why is that is what we're going to be getting into. And this is because of the thing that nobody wants to talk about, and it's muscular imbalances that cause your bones to rub up against each other improperly. And this can be fixed by reducing the tension in your muscles, because muscles become tendons that attach to bone. The tendon is what attaches to the bone. If you ever hear a phrase called tendinitis, that is a misnomer, because tendons don't swell. It's where it attaches to the osteum, the periosteum of the bone, and it's pulling at the bone. And that is what causes a swelling, because the periosteum has the blood supply. So that's where the swelling happens and occurs. And when it brings swelling, it brings all kinds of ick into that joint. It brings proteins which stick around. And then as your bones rub up against each other, it starts laying down more bone to protect it. And that is what happens with these little bone spurs, and you get immobility. So the number one thing that we can do to prevent arthritis or to get relief from arthritis is move. Movement is improvement, and learn how to reduce the tension in our muscles. So rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune condition. And this means that the immune system is attacking a healthy body for whatever's purpose. This happens because of our diet. This happens because of it. So Google, it says it is not yet known what triggers this, but we do have a good idea what triggers this. And it's when our bodies aren't getting adequate nutrition, when we're eating fake filler foods. We're just not creating, you can't create bone, you can't create healthy muscle tissue, you can't create healthy cells when you're putting in garbage. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. So what happens is your immune system starts making antibodies and it attacks your body because you may or may not be putting real things in it. High amounts of sugar, things like that. It's just, we really, really, really have to adopt a healthy and close to the source type of diet that's not filled with, filler foods like breads and rices and like all of these other things that that are come out of a box. Osteoarthritis is the most common form of arthritis. Some people call it degenerative joint disease or wear and tear arthritis. This happens most frequently in your hands, in your hips, and in your knees. And so what happens is with osteoarthritis, the cartilage within the joint begins to break down, and then the underlying bone starts to change. And we already talked about why, and it's because of muscular imbalances. So if I'm sitting all of the time and my hamstrings are tight and my quads are stretched out and weak, when I go to stand up, it's going to take me a minute to be able to get standing up fully because my hamstrings are so tight that I'm not going to be able to extend my knee fully. And then my quads are stretched out and weak and my kneecap isn't going to articulate appropriately. And we just don't spend a lot of time working on these muscles. We get all heck bent about, strength, but really there is a component of releasing the bound up tissue in the muscle that is a bigger piece of the puzzle than most people really tend to realize. Primary cause of osteoarthritis, nobody knows, which I think is baloney, because why do they tell you a specific diet to take if you have arthritis, right? They say to cut out red meat and fried foods because it has high levels of advanced glycation end products, AGEs, which are known for stimulating inflammation. Why would they tell you not to eat those things? Maybe these things are the things that cause it, right? Sugars, dairy, refined carbohydrates, alcohol, tobacco. These are the things that we've already kind of been talking about. And then, especially when we're looking at the hips, right? Because these osteophytes are caused because of improper articulation in the joint that is 100% caused by muscular imbalances. If you sit with your legs crossed all day long, this bone is going to be pushed out here because your leg is a lever. This femur head is not going to articulate in the acetabulum properly. It's going to be rotating funny. It's going to grind down the cartilage. And then as soon as that bone starts rubbing against bone, it stimulates the bone to make more bone. And then you can't move because you have little osteophytes in the way, or bone spurs. So what I think, after 23 years of working with people with chronic pain, is the causes of arthritis in general is a sedentary lifestyle, poor posture, chronic dehydration, poor diet, and chronic inflammation that's caused by the poor diet, the chronic dehydration, the poor posture, and the sedentary lifestyle, because your body has to move in order for your lymphatic system to pick up the cellular debris and be excreted out from the urinary tract system. Your body is designed to move. Your body is not designed to sit at a desk 8 hours a day. Your body is designed to be a bipedal creature, and bipedal means standing upright on your 2 feet. That's why we stand. We were not born with a chair in our bum, And we are not supposed to be sitting as much as we do. And then when people decide that they want to do exercise, they're doing all of the wrong things. We start doing massive amount of sit-ups, and like chest presses. Well, all of this chest is already strong because we're like this all day. Your stomach is already tight, like you may have adipose tissue there, but it's not something that any amount of sit-ups is going to cure. Sit-ups is going to cause back issues and all kinds of things. We have to learn how to balance our muscular structures so that the wear and tear on our joints is normal and not abnormal from chronic repetitive movement patterns and chronic posturing. The best exercises that they say for our arthritis is swimming. Swimming is one of the best exercises that you can do when you have arthritis, because it takes the pressure off of the joints. And the other thing about water is there's water pressure. The water pressure on your skin creates a compression, almost like a compression stocking or a compression sleeve, and it pushes against your body and causes your lymphatic, your venous system to pick up all of the extracellular debris and for your lymphatic system to work a little bit more efficiently. Swimming is great exercise. Any water aerobics, anything like that is going to be awesome for any arthritic condition. Walking, something that's easy breezy, beautiful cover girl, right? We want to be upright. We want to be bipedal creatures. I don't love biking. It depends on the biking, because the biking is not like a lot of action on the heels hitting the ground and the knees and the things like that. People love biking, but if you're leaned forward on that bike like a cycle and like really hunched forward, and I think you know what I'm talking about when I say that, that biking is not going to be great for you. I love, and like my bicycle has ape hangers, so I can be a little bit more upright, and I'm turning like this so that I'm not leaned forward on that bike as though I was sitting down. What are those called? The lay down bikes? Is it a recumbent bike? I'm not sure what it's called, but those are great if you're not afraid of getting hit in the road. They freak me out when I see them. Water aerobics, we already talked about, and yoga is really great for like moving. The only thing that I don't love about yoga is people have a tendency to push themselves too hard into stretches in yoga. And when you're experiencing pain, that is your body telling you that your muscles feel like they're going to tear, so that instead of relaxing, they contract. So sometimes we're putting ourselves into like super weird shapes in yoga. Hopefully you have a really great teacher or a lot of really good self-awareness. But just for that gentle movement and flowing through movement, yoga is awesome. Dancing is great for any type of movement. So these are going to be great exercises if you are experiencing pain due to arthritic conditions. What I teach people how to do in my programs is how to foam roll. So there are many, many, many benefits of foam rolling. You can improve your flexibility because it decreases the muscular tension, which is going to improve your mobility. You're not going to have as much pain. It improves your recovery time because it pushes all of the stale blood like into the lymphatic system and allows fresh blood supply to come in and fill all of that musculature. It decreases soreness and decreases muscle tension. This is the foundation of what I teach in my programs for my clients, is how to release their own muscles, release what's tight, strengthen what's weak, and get some normal movements out of the joints, as opposed to one side being chronically shortened and one side being chronically stretched out. So how do you work with me and Not Now Therapeutics? If you are suffering from arthritis, especially is it in your knees, in your hips, in your neck, things like that, and you are looking for support with this, you can reach out to me. You can DM me. I do one-to-one private online coaching, and then I have a monthly self-care membership, which is $97 a month. You have access to our entire video library that teaches you how to foam roll everything from the top down. I think there's something like 10 modules of classes. And then I have a weekly online class called Wellness Wednesday that I teach every Wednesday. And that way I can see you, and you still have access to all of the other videos. So it's really an incredible value membership. So if you are suffering with any type of arthritis or pain condition like that, feel free to reach out to me, DM me. I'm very accessible and easy to get along with. And so if you want to check out my website, it is not with a K, nowtherapeutics.com. There's a lot of really great information there. And I'm really happy to share this information with you today. And I just want you to know that if you are struggling with arthritis and if you are struggling with chronic pain, there is hope. There are things that you can do to get relief, and I am 100% here to help you. So thank you so much for participating in this live video. And thanks to Chris and Brittany for letting me be here today. And I hope that you have a fantastic Tuesday, and I hope that you learned some good things about arthritis.